The weather's cold, but it's raining. I like how the weather reports always say it's cloudy, for example, at times like this when it clearly is not just cloudy. And what did I read today? It is CES today. I've been trying to read a lot of the tech news and so forth as it's coming out. But how about this one first? Apparently there were, I guess, authority figures using a drone that caught someone throwing evidence away when they, I guess, approached the suspect. This one says a drone captured the moment this Fairfield man tossed evidence into a neighboring yard. So as they write here, roll that beautiful drone footage. On January 5th at 6:54 p.m., the Special Operations Team set up surveillance on 23-year-old Joseph Hernandez of Fairfield. Hernandez was wanted in connection to a December shooting. After confirming Hernandez was at home, officers surrounded the residence and commanded that he exit. Using a drone, Officer Pinate watched Hernandez leave his home via the back door and throw several items over the fence and into the neighboring yard before returning to the residence. That's kind of interesting, I guess, being able to pick up that evidence with a thermal camera and stuff like that. The items were then retrieved by another person, a retrieval that might not have occurred if not for the drone deployment. After several additional calls, Hernandez surrendered and was arrested pursuant to his warrant. The items believed to have been thrown over the fence, approximately 2 pounds of marijuana were retrieved. A search warrant was executed at the home, but to preserve the integrity of the investigation, additional details will not be shared. You'd think normally it'd only be used, I guess, to try to locate the suspect in general, but when you have eyes in the sky, all the details come out, huh? And this was kind of interesting as DJI recently announced that it will be changing its GEO systems in various countries because of the way the law works. And as you know, in a lot of places, their geofence software and restrictions don't actually match local laws. It's really annoying, I guess, if you're actually using their products. But apparently in places like the EU, they are going to change that. It says here, DJI, the world's leading civilian drone manufacturer, has begun to gradually update its GEO system with UAS geographical zone data from national aviation authorities. The move is in alignment with existing drone regulation by the European Aviation Safety Authority and the UK Civil Aviation Authority and will provide the drone pilots with more freedom to fly. The update will initially be introduced in countries that have implemented geographical maps that are compliant with existing technical standards. Belgium, Bulgaria, Cyprus, Denmark, Germany, Ireland, France, Lithuania, Switzerland, and the UK. Other countries under EASA jurisdiction will follow in due course. DJI will include most consumer, enterprise, and agricultural models, and customers will simply need to refresh the Flight app to initiate the change. And as they say here, DJI was the first civilian drone manufacturer to adopt GEO system voluntarily to protect airports and highly sensitive national security sites in 2013. At the time, mass-produced small consumer drones were new, and aviation authorities needed time to put appropriate safeguards in place. GEO systems help prevent DJI drone operators from inadvertently flying inside controlled airspace. It's one of those things, I guess on paper it sounds okay, but in practicality, just from my experience anyways, it's more often inaccurate in terms of local laws, and at the same time it raises that debate. If you buy a product, for example, like in this case a drone, should a company dictate where you can and can't fly, or should it be your own responsibility to read up on the laws and all that? Imagine that with anything else, like a car, for example, where the manufacturer can turn it off, I guess, versus you have to make the decision based, again, on the local laws, and if you do something wrong, then you'll be punished. But either way, is this a potential sign that they will, I guess, abolish, per se, like this geofence software stuff that they use, because that's one of the advantages for the other companies. They actually don't do that with their hardware. At the same time, they are the leaders in the market space, so as long as they're providing, I guess, the best value for people, it'll still be king, and people will just have to accept it too in that regards. And again, just reading some CES 2024 stuff as it comes, a lot of interesting things. For example, I guess this first one I was reading, it talked about how NVIDIA is releasing a new video card. The GeForce RTX 40 Super Series graphics cards launching this January. And apparently, I guess with the cost, like this GeForce RTX 480 Super arrives January 31st at $999. What's the big deal? I guess as you can see in their charts and all that, as usual, one would advertise it's a lot faster than its predecessors and all that. And there were a lot of other stuff. Again, I'm just catching up as it happens. For example, they talk about things like a transparent micro LED. I can imagine this being in places, I guess, in hotels or conventions, for example, for presentation's sake. But either way, just catching up on the news again, just as it comes out, because once companies release all their latest and greatest, then you can start determining what to invest in potentially, I guess, for the year too. And since the rain doesn't look like it's gonna stop, I guess it's a good day to do some testing too, technically, with the video and stuff like that. All right, see you guys later.